Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Savannahs Savage Dan. Joins me, my man. It's good to see you. Been a while. How are we?
I'm good. How are you, man? It's been a while.
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Finally back on a Boxxer show. And it was a lively one, a lively press conference today. When April Hunter and Kirsty Baverton started it off, you know, the start of a press where everyone's a bit like, whatever. Everyone just kind of snapped into it, straight at each other, no messing about.
It was beautiful for me. It just took the pressure off me because I hate that beginning bit of a press conference anyway, when I have to start wheeling off. We're at the AO Arena and doing all of that. I prefer to just have the convo, and it lit straight away. There's obviously Needle there. That's an interesting fight, but I think as a whole, you know, it was a lively press conference, and then the main card, the top of the bill, that was a lively one as well. It's what you want, you know. When it's all said and done, you're here to promote a fight. You know, I know some people just want to be like, you know, we've done the work. I don't want to do too much talking, but you have to sell it to people as well. So I think today was a good advertisement for boxing.
Yeah, it was definitely a lively main event press conference as well. She's got that superstar feel, Franchon Cruz designed. For starters, she done her open workout in sunglasses, LV shades yesterday. Yeah, comes dressed up, knows how to sell herself, can sing, fashion designer. But it's all about what goes on in the ring. But she has got that superstar feel.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Americans have it, especially if you're the brash kind of outlandish one. Floyd had it, Clarissa has it. It's usually Americans. It's quite rare that you get that from a British fighter. We've got one on the card in Ben Whittaker, by the way, but it's quite rare that you have somebody who is so confident in themselves that they almost demand the attention before they're even in the ring. But as you said, look, what happens in the ring is most important. Savannah doesn't have to be like Franchon. She is quiet. She's the silent assassin, you know.
I think that's what pisses her off.
She wants that verbal. She wants to be able to get that bit between her teeth and have, you know, she wanted to draw Savannah out, and she managed to do it. And Savannah bit, and they've gone back and forth. I don't think, to be fair, looking at the fight and the styles, that bite will make much of a difference going into this fight. It's a strange one. I know Franchon is the undisputed champion. She's come over here, you know, she's the one with the momentum at the moment. But I really do think Savannah is a favourite going into this. I fancy her style to slightly dominate. She's taller, got the longer levers, probably does hit harder. And you know, I just feel like fighting Clarissa Shields can make anyone look bad and make anybody look like, you know, they're not as great of a boxer as people thought. But I think we're gonna reverse this now, and we'll get a really good performance out of Savannah.
Obviously, there is less of a talent pool in the females, and to make the big money, they have to have the big fight. So it's not that simple, but it is a little bit of a two fingers to a couple of the blokes as well, when you can make an undisputed fight, and what they were saying is 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's the thing, you know, there's less people, there's less politics. We all know what boxing can be when people work together, and we all know what it can be when they don't. You get a bit of a cold war. It's refreshing to hear that the undisputed fight can be made in 5 minutes. But to be fair, it can be made because the undisputed was one person. You know, it's different. It's a bit harder when you've got, you know, one person with 1 belt and the other one with 3 belts. This was nice and easy because Savannah is clearly just a challenger. She doesn't come in with anything other than her kind of fans and you know, the momentum and the amount of attention that she has and what she's brought to female boxing. So it was easy to make. They're not always this easy to make. In fact, you look at the heavyweight men's division, you realise they're damn near impossible to make. But yeah, so it's refreshing to have one like that.
We'll talk about the heavyweights in a bit, actually. Obviously, there's always developments with that sort of stuff going on. I just kind of want to talk about Boxxer, because it has been a really strong time since they started, and obviously since the Sky Sports deal. But it's going to be kind of little turbulent times as well. I know there's been kind of other promoters trying to drag Ben in at times, and he's had to say certain things, not say certain things. But on the whole, when you look back at when it started to now, Boxxer's going in a good direction.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I think we had a really, really good start, and probably way exceeded our expectations and everyone else's expectations of us. maybe had to pay a bit more than you would for certain fights and for certain fighters, etc., etc. But you need to do it in order to make a dent and to disrupt things. Now we're here. We've had pay-per-view shows. We've had world champions. Natasha Jonas is like a complete success story. She won 3 world titles after, you know, almost retiring without winning any, and now she's onto her 4th in a second weight division. I think Boxxer on the whole, obviously there has been turbulent times, and there's some things that are just out of your control. You know, when fighters get injuries, and you have to call off cards, or you have to rearrange this, or you have to issue refunds, and this date gets moved, and we've been unfortunate with, you know, fighters not being able to make it into the ring, but as part of it, I think, and it's always going to be highlighted more when you're the new kids on the block, and when when it's all said and done, no one really had to worry about Boxxer before, and it was just kind of the main two that were fighting between them. Frank and Eddie would kind of just squabble between the two of them. Now you've got Ben in there, so it's a triple threat match. And as soon as somebody has something that goes wrong, the other two just pounce on them, and then
vultures straight in.
It's crazy. So it's all part of it. I think Ben's learning this very quickly. It's almost like there's no friends here. You're in shark-infested waters, and you've got to learn how to swim in it. And he's doing really well.
Can he live a happy life as a promoter, do you think?
You could probably be happy.
One thing I remember Eddie always saying is, as you get older, and I think he said this in reference to Frank Warren, said as you get older, boxing will turn you bitter. Ben's not there yet, of course. So, do you think that's true? Do you think Ben can live a happy life, or do you think it will just kind of slowly get more and more painful?
How long ago did Eddie say that? I wonder if he's becoming I wonder. You know what I mean? Like, he's one of those. Like, I think eventually, as you get older, regardless of if you're in boxing or not, you just get bitter anyway as you get older. Ben's obviously young. He's not bitter yet.
It's coming.
Everybody gets there. I'm not sure if you can. You can have a happy life as a boxing promoter. You definitely have happy moments, but I'm not sure if you have any peace. You definitely don't have any peace. But this is the life, you know, and I think everybody realizes, Frank, Eddie, Ben, everyone. I think when you zoom out and you actually look at how fortunate they've been to be in the positions and to be able to create the history. Even in the last 18 months, Ben's created some, you know, historic moments. To be able to do that, it is a privilege, you know. And I get it. Everybody has to have a dig at each other when things aren't going right, and when it swings and roundabouts. Next couple of weeks, it'll be something else from one of the other promoters, and we'll see what it's like then. But I suppose it's their role, innit? It's part of it to not get along. I wish they could get along a little bit better, and do some more business, and maybe, you know, you could get boxing in a better position if everybody just works together, because that's what we were trying to do when we came in, just work with everyone.
We saw Ben sitting on the top table with Frank for the Joseph Parker and Joe Joyce fight, so...
Exactly, and there's still bitterness when you sit next to each other and you still have a little bit of a dig, and I remember that press run, Frank had a big dig at Ben, and this is how it is, but I think what it looks like has to be slightly different to what it is. I think when, you know, all the curtains are drawn, I think you do have to work together and make these big fights.
I reckon they all like each other deep down. I'm hoping they like each other deep down. Quick one on the heavyweights, obviously, like I said, there is developments every day. There was a point where Dillian Whyte was apparently not happy that there was a rematch clause if he was to fight AJ. But apparently Saudi Arabia wouldn't want Dillian even if he did beat AJ. Now the Saudi stuff's moving to January. Just kind of looking from an outside perspective, we could sit here and talk about this for like an hour, but looking from an outside perspective, just kind of looking with a bit of frustration more than anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's frustrating for everyone. Something feels like it's close and then it's miles away. And it can just be one little thing that pushes a negotiation all the way out. I want to see it. We've heard about this, the Saudi doubleheader, let's call it, for the big money. Having an interim fight, it is risky. But then also not having an interim fight is a bit risky as well, because you want to be ready and you want to be active and have that momentum. So I'm hearing all these updates as you're hearing them. Fights are on and off, and White is in and then he's out, and Wilder and Ruiz it's on and then it's off, and people are pricing themselves out. The problem is everyone knows what's at the end of this, and it is the Saudi big pot of gold. So of course the people that probably won't be involved in that are going to do whatever they can to get as much of the pot now. I hope it gets done, because it's frustrating for the sport, especially the heavyweight scene. That's really is a separate sport in itself. And there's some big names up there. They need to be active and they need to be fighting each other.
If we can't get or haven't been able to get these guys to fight each other over the last 3 or 4 years, can we really forget how much money there is? Because I know they've got like an unlimited pool of money. Can you really get them to fight on the same night or the same week if we haven't been able to do so for 3 or 4 years?
I mean, I guess it's all up to Saudi. For them, they're just going to be training for a fight. Whether it doesn't matter to them whether it's on the same night or not, I guess, or the same week or whatever it is. This is the proposal. This is the sum of money, and everybody seems interested. It's just about whether they can make it happen now. I think it's the time frame. You know, if they turn around and said this was going to happen in 3 months' time, you probably have a better chance of getting it done than having to work out, do you need interim fights and getting stuff in between it. I want to see it happen. I want to go. You know, I've been to Saudi twice now. Yeah, it's a weird one, but I'm praying it happens, man, because we need an undisputed champion as well. And this will give us the chance, hopefully, to see 2 shots at people being undisputed.
I'm just annoyed that the Saudis took our Angolo, man. I miss him. I miss him.
They've taken everyone, you know. Like Saudi aren't playing around. They've got Benzema. They got they can have Koulibaly, to be fair. They're obviously throwing a lot of money at sports at the moment.
They've heavily invested in about 5 tops, like golf, F1, football. Talking about boxing, so.
Call it what you want, you know, it's an opportunity for the fighters and the players and all of that to go and perhaps get more money than it's worth. It's let's be honest, they're overpaying. But this is like what I was saying, you know, when you're the new kid on the block and you're trying to make a dent in things, you have to overpay. And you have to over provide, you know, you have to do more than what people think you're capable of. That's what they're doing. Let's see if it works. I just want to see the fights. You know, it would be a travesty if everyone, because look, no one's a kid anymore. They're not spring chickens. Like they're getting on now. This needs to happen now.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.